CloudDB, shaping your new normal.
Hi everybody, welcome to APEC Groundbreakers virtual event. Today I want to talk to you about enterprise class low-code development using Oracle Apex. So let's get started. My name is Christina Cho. I am part of the Oracle Apex development team. Today, I'll talk about what low-code is and give you an overview of Oracle Apex. Then I'll show some of the key features of Oracle Apex through a demo, and I'll share common use cases as well as the real-world use cases at the end. First, I want to talk about enterprise application development. Enterprise application development can be expensive because every line of code you write, there is cost associated with it. You have to author, debug, review, test, manage, and maintain the upgrade. The bigger the task, the more people involved, the greater complexity, and the more overhead there is. Another problem of enterprise application development can be slow. Business requirements change fast these days. The days of having all the requirements upfront before you develop any application is over. If you're not fast and flexible, then you're not on time to meet the business requirements. There's no easy collaboration between businesses and IT departments either. This creates IT gaps, and due to these gaps, businesses really cannot move fast and meet their needs. At the end, all of these problems lead into backlogs such as enhancements to existing applications, new applications never getting developed, small problems never getting solved because there is a bigger problems to tackle with. So what happens next? Businesses try to solve problems often with the wrong tools. For example, people create spreadsheets in a hope to use as a multi-user database and send them over emails. Then they end up with too many copies of the file at the end, and it is really hard to identify which one is the point of the truth. This is where low code can give you answers. So what is low code? If you look up a definition in Wikipedia, it says, low-code development platform is the software that provides an environment for programmers to use to create the application through graphical user interface and configuration instead of spending time on traditional coding. In other words, here are the attributes of low-code. It is very easy to get started. You don't have to be an expert to start building the applications. Low code is very productive too. With minimal effort, using built-in components, you can develop feature-rich applications. It is accessible to more than just highly trained full-stack developers. Both professional and citizen developers can contribute to solve their business problems. You don't necessarily need a full-stack developers to deliver the full-stack results. Most of the low-code applications start small and they grow big with complexity, functionality, and usage. For this, low-code provides scalable solutions. Low-code solutions are extensible as well, so you're not really constrained by the box you're in. Every business has custom requirements, custom rules, and custom business flows. And the functionality that is not provided out of the box can be included and extended in forms of integrations, plugins, or widgets. And finally, it is all about delivering the feature-rich functionality with minimal code and minimal effort. Gartner says by 2024, low-code development will be responsible for more than 65% of your application development. This means more than half of the application development will be built using the low-code development near future. So why would people want to do this? And Gartner predicts this a great percentage. And why would you want to use low-code? The answer is because the benefits are enormous. You can build applications faster. You can deliver the applications with greater quality, with consistency. These benefits allows you to reduce the development cost. And finally, you can focus on your business problems rather than spending time on coding. For example, you don't have to write code to manage the session state, monitor the application, secure your application, worry about your applications being accessible or work across different browsers and responsive on different devices and user interfaces. All of these are taken care for you by the low-code platform. Gartner says the reason that someone will choose low-code platform is for productivity and speed of the development. This is where I'd like to talk about Oracle Apex. We have been delivering the benefits of low-code with Apex for many years. Oracle Apex is a low-code development platform that enables you to build stunning, scalable, secure enterprise applications without you being an expert or knowing vast web technologies. You can focus on problem solving and let Apex do the rest. It is very easy to learn. There are many powerful components that are built in, and it does not require a lot of knowledge for you to configure and use them within your application. Using Apex, you can build applications to manage and visualize the data. With a responsive user interface, the created Apex application provides the rich UI that supports all the devices, such as desktop or mobile. This means there is no need to develop multiple different applications separately for each of these devices. Themes are provided and can be modified, so you can easily change the design without the code. As almost all the business applications are data-driven applications, you can manage the data using reports and forms and easily visualize the data using charts, calendar, cards, or maps in Apex. All of this can be built without you writing a code or knowing HTML or CSS knowledge. With a little bit of SQL, you can create great apps just like a professional developers can, and take advantage of the Oracle database features such as spatial, text, analytic, or machine learning. Apex has been included as the no-cost feature of Oracle database since 2004, and it is a fully supported product by Oracle. Apex runs anywhere that Oracle database runs, including the Oracle Autonomous Database Cloud Services, new Apex Application Development Service, all Oracle Database Cloud Services, all additions and deployments of Oracle databases. The development experience is virtually identical from on-premise to cloud, and you can freely move your applications between them. There's no additional licensing fees to develop, build, and use Apex. Apex is the world's most popular enterprise low-code platform. There are over 140 countries across all industries they're using Oracle Apex, and it is loved by over 500,000 vibrant global communities. There are global success stories across all the industries as well. So what can Apex do for you? No matter where the data comes from, whether it is from the local database, remote database, or web services over REST, Oracle Apex features state-of-the-art functionality to help you turn your data into information. Many powerful components of Oracle Apex enables you to add high-level functionality to your application with limited coding. Many customers are productive in a week or less. Forrester says that low-code development is 10 times faster than traditional coding. We'd like to say that Apex is 20 times more productive than hand coding. Now, 20 times more productive is a real bold statement, but it is also an understatement because countless customers have told us they were able to build an Apex application in days that would otherwise have taken them months and months or years. For example, to author a report in Apex, you just need to provide a single SQL statement, and that's all. If you're a JavaScript programmer, it'll take a lot of code to create the same. There's nothing wrong with using a JavaScript if your strategic direction is the JavaScript, but it is all about using the right tool for the right job. With Apex, you don't have to be an expert in order to build a compelling solution. With Apex, coding becomes an exception when necessary, as most of the heavy lifting is done for you by the framework. We've commissioned a time and motion study to check how fast Apex is compared to the leading technologies framework such as React.js. An expert in React.js, no voice in Apex, was asked to build two different applications. One was to create a similar functionality as Apex Interactive Grid to manage the data in tabular form, do the filtering, and highlight on the report. And the second was to build Apex's faceted search to provide the searching capability. What they found was very interesting. They found that Apex is 38 times faster than building the application with a similar functionality in React.js. This shows the value proposition of the low code, and Apex is you can build your applications faster compared to traditional coding from scratch. Now, let's look at some of the key features of Oracle Apex with a demo. Let me switch it into a browser. In Apex, you can create applications based on a new data or existing data. Let's explore a table using SQL Workshop to create an application based on existing table for this demo. Let's click on F1 drivers table, and this table contains international auto racing driver information. SQL Workshop allows you to create an application using this table easily by clicking on Create Application button. Now I am moved into Create Application Wizard. Wizard pre-populated the name of the application as well as it pre-populated some of the pages for me. Let's edit the application name as Formula 1. And let's click on Appearance. Let's change the application icon to use the red color scheme and select the speedometer. Now let's save the changes. Let's add some new pages before we create an application. Let's add a Smart Filters page to search for drivers. Let's use a different icon. Let's search for the filter icon. And let's display the search result using cards. And let's use the F1 drivers table. I can display the date of the birth of the driver as the body of the card. Let's use the driver's name and their nationality to display on the cards. Let's add another page to display map within this application. And this map will display the Formula One race circuits around the world. And this table that I have contains that information, and the table contains numeric values, which are longitude and latitude information of where those circuits are located. And let's display the location as the tooltip. You can freely move around a sequence of these pages by simply dragging and dropping in the order that you want to generate. Create Application Wizard also provides an ability for you to include install of the PWA capability, access control, or activity reporting. Let's select everything and explore these features later. Now my application is created, so let's run this application to explore. Let's go into the dashboard page. Wizard have included multiple charts for me to visualize my Formula One drivers in charts. If I hover over these chart values, I can also click on them, and that actually links into a report called Interactive Report in Apex. Interactive Report is actually a feature-rich functionality built in for your users to use as well. So let's go over these functionalities. You can hide certain columns here. Now my report displays more concise information instead of being cluttered. I can also add highlight in this report to highlight the data in yellow color to see the drivers who ran the race more than 10 times. Okay. Also, group by view can be added in the report to summarize the data by driver's nationality, and let's count all the drivers by their nationalities here. Since I have the report filter done by Australian driver, it's only showing one row. As soon as I disable the filter, I am seeing all of the drivers around the world, how many drivers are there for each country. These report settings also can be saved as part of your saved report settings. So let's name this as my F1 drivers. And I can go back to my primary report or my saved report. You can also download the data in the format that you desire, either CSV, HTML, Excel, or PDF. You can also do a subscription on this report to send an email to you regularly based on the interval that you set. When you click on the edit icon, you can manage the table data using the form. I can enter any value here. Validation is already added by the wizard, so data validation is done automatically. This form page also can be changed to open up differently. So let's go into the page designer. And let's click on the page attribute. There are multiple different types of dialogues. I can open up a dialog page to open up like a drawer from the right side. So let's save that and see how that opens up. Let's reload the page and open up that dialog. Instead of floating around on top of the page, now the form page opens up like a drawer from the right side. Now let's look at Smart Filters page that we included from the application wizard. Smart Filters allows users to quickly narrow down the data with filter suggestions as chips on the bottom, and also you can enter search terms in the search text box. You can interact with these filter suggestions by clicking on the chip. Also, if you want to display various options, you can simply clicking on the label of the chip to view all of your selections. So let's disable the British filter and let's look for any drivers who's in Japan and Australia. So you can narrow down your result set in the desired filter settings. Let's clear the filter settings and start from scratch. Let's enter a search term here to look for Formula One drivers who's in Red Bull team. So let's type in Red Bull. And you're actually presented with different filterings based on suggestions that the engine gathers. So when you select this option, you can filter down the data based on that search term. Notice that chips are disappeared automatically because it does not provide any extra value to restrict the data set any further. So the chips suggestions are disappearing. This feature-rich component is all provided for you. You don't have to code anything to provide this capability to your users within this application. All you have to do is provide the data source for the smart filters as well as the result set in the cart region. You can use this component to provide a simplified search experience that eliminates clutter and complexity. Let's look for another search component called faceted search. With faceted search, you can quickly filter the data using e-commerce style filters on the left called facets. As soon as you filter, all the associated facet counts are automatically recomputed on the fly, so you can narrow down the results any further. Also, these facets provide chart views as well. So if you're clicking on the chart, you can see how many of those are available in bar chart or pie charts. These functionalities again are out of the box. It's a feature-rich functionality. You don't have to code anything. All you need to do is provide the data source using a table or a SQL query, and the data can come from anywhere. Let's look at a map page. You don't have to buy any extra service to display a map in Apex application. Everything is provided and available for you. You simply need to provide spatial data to display the marker points, for example. This region is using the circuits table and latitude and longitude information to display the Formula One race circuits using the markers. As you can see, most of them are concentrated in Europe, but if you pan over to Asia Pacific region, Formula One race circuits are available in Australia. It's also available in Singapore, Japan, Korea, and China. Let's explore some of the administration functionalities, which are the features that we included when we created the application. We included activity reports feature, and one of the feature that includes with activity report is the dashboard. To track your application activities, you can filter based on the time frames, which page is most active and which user was accessing your application. You can also define access control to your application. Currently, my signed in user, which is the demo user, is the only user who can access this application as an admin, but you can add additional users here and give different privileges. So let's add a reader privileged user to the guest user and add. Feedbacks are all provided as part of the feature. So if you want to gather feedbacks to your application to enhance more, your users can actually submit a feedback here. As soon as they submit a feedback, as an admin, you can manage these feedbacks through Manage Feedback Report in the administration page. Okay, so let's go to the dashboard page. And this page only includes chart information. Let's add one more region to display the drivers who's actually leading the race in Formula One race for 2021. So let's go into the page designer. And if you want to remove certain regions that you don't need, you can simply right click on the region to delete them. Let's add a new region here. And this region will be called as leaderboard for 2021. And this will be the cards region. And the cards region will use a SQL query. And let's use a SQL query to display the data. I am joining multiple tables here, but let's validate. Everything looks good. Syntax-wise, the query is all good. So I'm ready to use this data source as part of the cards attributes. Let's display the driver's name as the title. And for the icon, let's display their standing position, whether they're first, second, or third position. And let's include their total points as cards badge. Let's just display the driver's image using the block column here and display more in the square appearance in the card. And I need to define a primary key. Now let's change the region a little bit. Since I want to display the title of the leaderboard, let's change to use different template for this region and remove the borders around. Okay, now let's run this page. Now my dashboard page displays much more visualized information on top of the charts. My cards are displaying to show which driver is leading the race for 2021. And as you can see, their pictures and their names and their total points in the dashboard. Let's change this application and enhance a little bit. Let's change the user interface to match the Formula One website color schemes. The Formula One website color scheme is more of red and black color scheme. So let's use the theme roller and change the global colors. Primary accent, let's define that as red color in hex number. As soon as I change, the effect is taken already, and I can look at the container. Let's change the header color more towards the black color here. So let's change that into a black. Now my header is black, but my accent color is red color. You can save these settings as a new theme style. Let's name that as F1 and save it. Okay, let's enhance this a little bit more. Instead of the logo being a text, I want to use Formula 1 logo image here. So let's upload an image in this application as an application static file. Let's create the file and let's drag the logo image here and create. Now images are loaded. I can reference this using this reference URL. Let's go to the share components, user interface. And under user interface, you can define an image instead of being a text for the logo. So let's paste it in that URL here. Now, when I reload, my application displays Formula 1 logo. Now, there's one last thing that I want to enhance. The fonts that my application is using is not matching the Formula 1 website font, which is the Tritilium font. Apex does not ship this font that I want to use, and certainly Apex is not a black box. You're not locked in a box you're in. You can extend your applications easily. So let's load up the font that I need by using Google API to load up the library. So let's go into the application, share components, and themes. And under the themes, F1 theme style is the one that I created. So let's click on it and load up the font library by defining a URL here for this theme style. Let's apply the change. Now I can call this font by going into a theme roller, and let's add a CSS class for this application to load. Okay. Okay, my CSS class is defined. Now let's save that. As you can see, my fonts are loaded. It's displaying much different font than before. It's using the Tritilium font that I wanted to use. All right, so I'm ready to give this URL to my users. And let's say my users are actually using their mobile device, which is the smaller screen, to view this application. So they open up a browser. Now they can access this application by signing in. So let's sign in as the guest user. Since Apex provides responsive UI, the same application works well from the smaller screen size using my smartphone. I can navigate around this page by clicking on them, and everything loads fine. I can view them fine without any issues. Okay, since I'm not an admin, I gave guest user as a reader privilege. I don't see any administration menu. And if I click on the report, edit icon is not available for me to edit any data using the form page. So ACL is provided out of the box as long as you include access control feature. One additional feature we included is actually the installation of this application to your mobile device. So let's say my user clicks on this install icon. As soon as they click on install icon, the instruction is provided for them to install this application to home screen of their smartphone. So let's add this into my home screen. As soon as I add it, an icon shows up in my smartphone home screen. So instead of using the browser to access this application, they can actually access this application just like a native application. So let's double click on this. Now I'm provided with a sign in again. Let's sign in. And I ran the application from my home screen instead of using the browser. Okay, so we explore some of the key features of Oracle Apex by designing a simple application. Now let's talk about some of the use cases. What is Apex used for? Apex is actually used to solve problems that is both small and big. The simplest problem we see often is transforming the data files such as spreadsheets file, XML, CSV, or JSON files and turning them into a web application in minutes. You can simply drag and drop these files to create a table in Oracle database, then quickly create an Apex application to manage the data. Once you create, the application becomes the single source of truth that is secure, scalable, and true multi-user application. You can simply share the URL to this application to anybody you want to manage the data. Another common use case is opportunistic applications. Applications that needed to be developed yesterday, applications that you need to build right away because of the business requirements, or webifying the paper processes. We've seen both professional and citizen developers taking advantage of the low-code capability of Oracle Apex to build these types of applications really fast. Apex is a natural evolution of Oracle Forms as well. They're both based in SQL and PL/SQL. You can easily train Forms developers to develop Apex applications. And we use some of the business logics that's in place already that is written in database package, procedures, or functions. You can build proof of concept using subset of Forms application. You can modernize these legacy applications by building mobile-first applications and solve the new business requirements as well. Apex is also used to fill the gaps of enterprise systems. All the ERPs and commercial off-the-shelf systems have gaps. Apex is used to extend the cloud ERP, Fusion applications, EBS, and all the COTS software to streamline your business processes. And finally, you can use Apex to build mission-critical applications that is used by thousands of users on a daily basis. As much as Oracle Database scales, Apex scales as well, and it is a truly enterprise-ready low-code platform. It includes features necessary for enterprise application development needs to have, such as security, integrity, scalability, and availability. You can leverage enterprise features of Oracle Database as well as the autonomous database features to build these type of enterprise systems. Let's finally look at the real-world use cases of Oracle Apex. Apex is used to build a system called vSafe. The vSafe was created for the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Center, also known for CDC. vSafe is an application to monitor the safety of the COVID-19 vaccination that's being administered within United States. People who receive COVID-19 vaccination can register with vSafe using their mobile phones. They provide the details of their vaccination. They then begin to receive the health check-ins through the text messages. And these are all the surveys on how they're reacting to the vaccine. The The requirement to build the vSafe system was very high. Both application and data needed to be secure. It needed to be the mobile-first application, easy to use and available in multiple languages, and it needed to be very scalable. There is actually no software to download to use vSafe, and there's no password to remember. vSafe simply pushes the reminders to the users to fill the survey, and the CDC gets an update through this survey information they fill out. The timeline to develop was very compressing, as the application had to be developed and finished to meet the first vaccination date in the United States, which was December last year. With the low-code capability of Oracle Apex, vSafe was created, user acceptance test ready within 23 days, and within 68 days, it went on to production after enhancing with the feedback and additional capabilities. Today, vSafe is used by 10 million verified registrants and with 125 million health check-ins. During the peak vaccination time, which was early this year, over 1 million active users were using vSafe system per day. This Apex application allowed CDC to monitor the safety of the vaccines in near real time. The application also helped to facilitate the pregnancy registry to show that vaccines are safe for pregnant women as well. Another use case of the similar system near where you are in Asia Pacific region, Oracle Health Management System is built using Oracle Apex, and it's getting used in state of Tasmania in Australia. Tasmanian government is using this system to manage the statewide COVID-19 vaccination program. And if you wish to read more about this, here's the QR code to view the press release. There are more real-world use cases as well as customer success stories. For more information about this and Apex in general overall, please visit apex.oracle.com. You can get all the information we have about Apex. There are a great number of Apex sessions in this Apex Groundbreakers virtual event as well. I've personally never seen this great amount of Apex sessions presented in the past event. So this is a great opportunity for you. So sign up for those sessions to learn more about Oracle Apex and what Apex can do for you. All right, so that's all for my session. Thank you so much for joining the session with me.
CloudDB, shaping your new normal.